Hello everyone and welcome back to another Babbly Nines video with myself and Sloth. We're almost out of international break now. The Premier League is returning this week against Spurs, but we just wanted to have a little debate around Jarrod Bowen and, how he's getting on as club captain, because there was a lot of, talk in the summer about who is going to be made captain, whether someone like Max Kilman was going to be brought in for that reason. And, whether West Ham have a lack of leaders currently in the squad that we have. We're going to kind of debate that on this video. So if you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all of that jazz. And yeah, let's get into it, Sloth. I think Jarrod Bowen, obviously off the back of this international break, was excluded from the England squad. I don't think his performances have been great so far this season. Do I think he should have been dropped from the England squad? Personally, no. But again, we've spoken before about the different expectation that comes with being club captain of West Ham. What do you think the impact is having on Jarrod Bowen? Do you feel like there's a correlation between him being made club captain and also maybe a slight regression in his performances so far?
I think that'd be understandable for any player to have a slight dip with extra responsibility. But I think, unfortunately for him, it's coincided with the whole team sort of underperforming. I think he has been quiet in matches, but, you look at the Crystal Palace game and the Fulham game where his quick thinking is what additionally set up Ings. So, we've been quite critical of his overall game, but I think he's probably not the person to be pointed at when you look at a reason why maybe things have gone slightly slower than expected. And I think, we said in another video that I personally feel like Bowen is someone who leads by example. He's a captain who leads by, putting in the yards and working hard, not necessarily by shouting and the cliche of being a club captain and leadership traits in that department. And I think that in modern football in particular, that's one of the most important things. If you are, performing poorly and the players come to expect that of you, then it's incredibly hard to criticize anyone else for their performances, or at least, I think the majority of blokes, if you're pulling someone else's weight, they'd go, well, who the hell are you to talk? So I think the downturn in form has probably been a combination of things, but hopefully the Ipswich performance is kind of a turn in his captaincy. It would take any captain time to adjust to as much of a change in the side. And I think that here is the point where it's probably going to be tested a little bit more. Can he carry on the form? Or if we drop points against Spurs, can he turn it around from there?
Yeah, no, I know we did discuss this recently on the Hammers Chat Patreon. So yeah, I know we do a video over there once a week. So go check that out if you're not on the Patreon. But yeah, I think with Bowen, it's a difficult one because it's easy to say, right, his performances regress because he's been made captain. However, there's been a lot of moving components so far this season. New manager, new style, new players to integrate, completely new setup and way of playing. So not only is it, I feel like a lot of what Jarrod Bowen was good at suited how David Moyes played really well because of the way he was in transitions as a player and the way he kind of first came to West Ham. That's where most of his success came from. It's now elevated his profile, but he's now in the England squad. He's 27 years old. He's been made the club captain. He's playing under Julen Lopetegui, who's a completely different style to David Moyes and being asked to do a completely different role. So I feel like there's a lot of different components that have contributed to a slight regression in form. Obviously, started the season last year absolutely on fire, scoring goals left, right, and centre away from home and even at home. So I think it would be very difficult to maintain that level anyway. I just think it takes time. When you become club captain, as you mentioned, you get so much more responsibility. And Declan Rice mentioned it in, when he was speaking about becoming club captain from Mark Noble. There's so much admin, there's so much behind the scenes that you don't see that a captain is responsible for. And obviously that's going to make an impact on someone's life and it could potentially impact their performances. But I think with Bowen, look, just give him some time. He's shown glimpses already that he's getting back on track. I think being excluded from the England squad for this international break that just happened could potentially be a good thing for West Ham, because now he's got these run of 4 games to try and get himself back in the squad for the November break. So I feel like that could coincide quite nicely. And I guess it comes down to what your preference is, Sloth, of a club captain, because, we mentioned it as well. You can lead in different ways. Look at Lionel Messi, captain of Barcelona. Is he the most vocal of players in that group? No. Was he the most talented? Obviously, yes. So his skill was what he was leading by. I feel like it's similar with Bowen in our squad. He's one of the more talented players. I'm not saying he's Messi, but he's one of the more talented players in the squad. So his leadership style is very different. Do you feel like across the board of the starting 11 or squad, Sloth, that we lack the vocal leaders needed to compete at the highest level and consistently compete for, top European spots, cups, competitions, all of that?
I think that I don't know if it's leadership. I think it's quality. I think it's overall quality. And say, perhaps, we've kind of touched on it as well when we talk about Paqueta potentially being banned. Paqueta is someone who can make things happen in an instant when he decides to turn it on. And I think if you look at someone like, McAtee, who's not playing at Man City, but scored a brace for England against Ukraine for the under-21s and won us that game. I think there are players like him who, we could add and build around, and who, again, lead by example, perhaps are not as frustrating with their quality. But look, I'm not comparing them like for like, but I'm saying that I think it comes down to more a question of the players' quality that we have, and less so about their leadership overall.
What would you rather your captain be then, Slough? Would you rather it be someone like, Jarrod Bowen, who's definitely got the qualities in the squad, maybe lacks the, the leadership on the pitch, the vocal presence? Or would you rather that vocal figure, I don't know, someone like a Jordan Henderson, not talented really, or I didn't believe was that talented, but very vocal player. So yeah, what's your personal preference in a club captain?
Look, I think we've seen what happens when a player isn't that talented but is more vocal, with Noble as our captain for as long as he was. And look, he was a fantastic figurehead for the club. I don't think he was a fantastic player for quite a few years at the end of his time. I don't think that's unfair to say either. It's something that I would personally rather have a player who leads by example than a talker on the pitch. And I think we kind of, to go into all the sort of namby-pamby stuff of like all the players speaking different languages. Someone who's multilingual and can instantly go, oh, you're not picking up your weight, change to another language and go, you need to do this. It's probably not going to happen. There's very few players who can do that.
Can't see Bowen whacking out Spanish.
I could. I'm sure he's ordered a few Australias in his time, but it's one thing where I just think that the demands of a captaincy are changing, and particularly in modern football, I would much rather have someone who leads by example on the pitch and is giving 100% than someone who is just demanding it and not necessarily delivering it themselves. I do think that Bowen is someone who will grow in terms of the captaincy, and he will look to.
It's brand new to him, isn't it? It's brand new at the moment.
And I think that's why it's maybe been questioned as much as it is, because it's a huge overhaul by the club. New manager, lots of new players, and suddenly a new captain. So I think he's going to be looking for the experience around him. He's going to be talking to players like Fabianski and Max Kilman and getting their ideas on what would help him out. So I think he'll only grow into the role. I just question whether maybe he could have been eased into it slightly more, or maybe given an extra season. But then again, no time like the present. So if he comes into the new year and we're chasing those top spots or chasing the European spot, we'll all be going, what a great decision it's been.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, as you say, there's different ways you can captain a football club, and Jarrod Bowen is definitely in the category of leading by example, rather than being that vocal figure, like you say, that Mark Noble definitely was during his time as captain. Especially towards the end of his, time at West Ham, the skill regressed, but there was an importance at the time of having a figure like that on the pitch because we lacked it. I feel like across the board we do lack those types of figures at the moment in the squad. But as you say, it's also a quality issue. I feel like it's once we get the structure of the team together, it will get better. I remember Tim Steiden said in his in his interview that came out last week about Fulkirk, and there's more than just his qualities on the pitch that contribute to what a positive signing can be. It's the off the pitch stuff, and again, having those types of leaders in and around your squad is massively important. So yeah, I think Jarrod Bowen, obviously, he became club captain this year, still very early on. Do I feel like him being made club captain has resulted in him dropping performances directly? No, I think there's been a lot of stuff around that has contributed. But of course, becoming club captain, you get that extra expectation or pressure on you. And people were looking at you as the answer to the solution as the captain on the pitch. But yeah, let us know down below in the comments. What do you think of Jarrod Bowen as club captain? Would you have done it? Would you have picked someone else for the club captaincy position? And do you feel like he is performing worse because of the club captaincy role that he's now got? Let us know down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And Sloth, till the next one.
Come on, you
Come on,
eyes.
you eyes.